my YouTube friends. It was February, on my anniversary actually, February the 20th. And I was doing really good. And I can tell you with so much happiness that I am still doing wonderful. The Lord has blessed my life with contentment and happiness. And I love being in my 50s. I'm really loving it. I'm at a wonderful place in my life. I like being a grandma. I like this stage of life. And it's even fun at work to be the grandma that brings in treats for the correctional officers and all of that. They're so young, and it's almost like I'm feeding my youth group again, you know? I just enjoy it so much. Anyway, let me fill you in. A lot's happened since I talked to you in February. Well, Claire came home for the summer, and I'm going to skip around a little bit. She got engaged this summer to Levi. Levi has been her boyfriend for 3 years. He's a good guy. And he really loves her, and she really loves him, and they love the Lord. And they plan on getting married June the 27th. So that's coming up. It'll be here before we know it. And she's already moved out of her room. It's like empty, and it has furniture in it for them when they get married next year already. She's just moving on. So, and it's gonna be okay. I'll miss her, but I miss her now. She never comes home. But then again, as I said, I could go see her too. So it goes both ways, and I understand that. I've just been working a whole lot. Let me tell you about that. Well, before that, let me go back to my other kids. Josiah, he's still trying to find his way in this old world. He had a job for a while, but with his ADD and his anxiety, it was so fast-paced. He couldn't. It just wasn't a good fit. So he did quit that job, and he's applying other places. I really hope he finds the right fit for him. I want him. It doesn't matter what he does. I want him to be happy and serve the Lord and do the right thing and have a wonderful life with God first and family second. And I would just love to see him flourish in the Lord. And so keep praying for my boy. He needs prayer, but this mama loves him so much. And then my oldest daughter, she's going to give birth soon to my second grandson. And I love being a grandma so much, but I just am sad that they live so far away. They moved to New York, and not just New York, but like upstate New York. Well, it feels like it's upstate New York. It's way into New York, so it's going to be hard for me to go up and visit them with working Monday through Friday, 3 to 11, and so I don't have seniority. I just started my job in July, like July the 7th, maybe, something like that. So let me tell you about my job. I was talking about getting a different job, and Levi, my daughter's fiance, we were talking, and I had looked at this job before about being a corrections nurse, and I love the law. I love watching live court cases. I love watching how they pan out and the stories behind them, the people behind them, and all that. I've always been intrigued with it, especially after I served on a jury years ago. And so I thought it'd be so interesting to know what goes on in a jail anyway. So I applied because Levi encouraged me to. Really. I may have applied anyway, but it was him that just really helped me to just do it one day. And I got hired. And I just didn't get hired, but I got hired for a wage that was so unexpected. I was blown away. And yes, I was at a job where they try to get the nurses for the cheapest price. You know, they're known for that. That's why they don't have help right now. But yes, I was so happily surprised. I guess part of it was I have 30 years of having my license, so over 30 years. So I think that helped me too. They took that into account. So the pay was surprisingly nice. The benefits are good. I pay about $200 and some every 2 weeks for my daughter, my son, and myself for good insurance, good vision, dental. I have life insurance. I have accident insurance. I have disability insurance. I mean, I just took advantage of all these things I could get, and it's less than $300 every 2 weeks for all that insurance and help if I need it, because I'm the only one bringing in an income, you know. So that gives me peace. That makes me feel good. But that's not as important as my job. So I will not say where I work. I'm going to try not to, because I'd just rather not. I mean, the people that know me know, but I'd rather not put it out there. But I do live in Indiana, and I got a job really not too far, and it is a small jail. It probably has 40 some inmates right now, which is wonderful. I love that. And for training, I went quite a ways up north, not quite to Fort Wayne, but I went quite a ways north and trained for a week there at a bigger jail. I really enjoyed that. Then I went over to a smaller jail west of that one and spent a few days there. And I got to know the nurses at these jails, and I really enjoyed getting to know them and how they do things. And every jail's different because the sheriff has control over a lot of the scenarios and situations and policies and procedures. So that's all different. For example, they asked me to help out at Wayne County Jail yesterday. And I was so excited because I love my job. And I was like, yes, I want to do it. So I was looking forward to it. And it was 6 to 12 yesterday. And I got there early and I was excited. And I went in and bam, I was hit with the enormous presence of this jail. And all the receiving rooms and the nursing offices, you know, that went way back this corridor. There's a treatment room, and there's another office, and there's another office, and all these rooms, and they have an EKG machine, which I have no idea how to use. You know, things like that. And I was going to be the only nurse there for 6 hours, and I was going in blind. But I can't complain because the scheduler knows so much. She's not a nurse, but she might as well be. And she was there to just walk me through everything. And without her, I couldn't have done it. I could not have done it because I was lost. They have, at that jail, if you are on methadone or Suboxone, which is they're narcotics, but they're supposed to help people get off of opiates. You know, they let you take those in jail. Well, see, our jail, the sheriff says no. Even if you're on Suboxone or methadone, you're not going to take that in jail unless a pregnant woman comes in and getting off the methadone would hurt the baby. Things like that. If it's a medical situation, I think that there's an exception for that. But, you know, otherwise, the sheriff says no. So I had all of that going on. And then people who are detoxing from alcohol, you know, opiates, things like that, you have to monitor them closely. Some of them get Librium as they're coming off of, you know, of the alcohol, because it can be deadly if, in some cases where people are detoxing, it can become very critical about 5 days after they stop drinking if there's a real problem. And so we have to monitor people like that pretty closely. But I was just so overwhelmed yesterday. And then I dropped a pill, and it wasn't just any pill. It was a controlled substance, and it was a Sunday, and they had to go to a pharmacy to replace that one pill for me that I had dropped. And then an inmate said, "You didn't give me your pill, the one that I dropped. I didn't give him." So then later he said I didn't give it to him, and I thought I did. And the correctional officer that was with me, he said, "We'll get it to you. We'll get it to you." And I looked at him and I was like, I gave out all the Librium. And I was like, did I mess up? Did I make a mistake? I mean, because they're not wearing name bands. You know, I just have their names, and I asked them if that's who it was. And I felt like I just didn't feel like I had my balance there yesterday. It was a difficult 6 hours. But they had to go back on the cameras, because they have cameras on them. They had to go back and see, and they said he took it. So without the camera, I still wouldn't know, if I did the right thing or not. So thankfully, they said he did take it. I guess he was trying to get another one, maybe. I don't know. So that was very challenging. And anyway, I'm off to work today to my little jail where I feel at home. It's so funny. Instead of going to church yesterday, I went to jail, and now I'm going to the other jail where I feel at home. But I just feel like I'm in the right place. I do. I mean, I have to be very careful because I care about the inmates, but I have learned that they're in there for a reason. Most of them have a good reason for being there, and they really know how to manipulate and get your sympathy and make you want to go fight for them, and then, for example, that happened last week. I was so concerned over this person. They just, they kept crying. Their eyes were full of tears, and they were just shaking, and they were reading a scripture verse over and over, putting it in their pocket, pulling it out, reading again, and they were just hyperventilating. Their blood pressure was crazy high. I just my heart was just going out to this person. The next day I went in there, and he did not even want to look at me. And I think I know why. He was so angry the next day, he wouldn't talk to me. And I think what happened was, when somebody needs a sick call visit, there is a charge that goes with it. I do not get a penny of that money, but the county decides how much it will cost for an inmate to see a nurse or to see a doctor. And they do get charged, and I have to do that. And so I did what I was supposed to do. I put a charge in because it wasn't I had so much compassion. It was not me trying to make him upset or anything. It's just policy. That's the only thing I know. But the next day, he wouldn't talk. He was angry. I did take his blood pressure again. Anyway, I'm talking too much, but I'm not telling you what jail or anything, and I'm not telling you names or anything like that. All I'm saying is I really love my job. It's really nice, and I feel like my 50s are just going to be full of happy moments, blessings, and for years I after losing Jonathan, I had this scarcity mindset. Grief and anxiety can make you just think unreasonable thoughts, and I had this scarcity mindset. I was going to end up homeless. I was going to end up living in my car, and common sense would have told me that's absolutely not true. But you can't speak common sense to somebody who's mentally ill. And I really believe that my grief and anxiety and depression really took me into a terrible mental illness for a while. And thank the Lord, I'm out of that now, and I feel I need to be careful that I don't go to the other side, but I feel more abundance now. I feel like I'm living an abundant life, and I don't worry about losing everything. I don't worry about how am I going to make it till I'm retired, because I think without Jonathan, he was just so safe for me. And I thought, okay, I'm going to probably get a good Social Security check, but I need to wait till like I'm 67 to get it, so I can get the, Medicare and all that. And, if I can just make it to 67. And now I'm thinking, I'm going to love these years in between now and 67. I'm going to enjoy my life. I'm going to have fun. And that is such a good feeling. And I just wish that for everybody. I just want you to know, if you're going through a hard time, I spent years in that hard time of my life. And I didn't want to be like that, but I didn't feel like I had a choice. It wasn't something I'd chosen. I just was there. But I've come out of it, and I live a happy life. It's not glamorous. It's not, a lot of people think it's boring, but I'm happy. I like my little life, and I don't do a whole lot, I guess, in the scheme of things, but I love my life. And you can make a difference just in your little daily life. I can make a difference in the jail, and I like that. I like the thought of that, of just being a friend and just enjoying my life. So that's a catch up for you all as I'm driving to work today. And I wish you all the best. I shouldn't say that I'm gonna have a YouTube channel and be a friend and visit you and then ghost for 7 months like this. It's terrible. But it's been good. It's been good. And I thought about telling you something else, but time's getting away, and I got to get off of here. So I'm gonna let you all go. Pray for my oldest daughter. Sure, her baby's not due until December, but I think he's gonna come early, and I'm so far away, and I can't be with her. That makes me very sad, because I want to be with my daughter, but I have to, there's some things you can't control, and I can't control that, and I won't be there when she gives birth. I'm really, really hoping I can spend a few days with her after the baby comes, but with me being a new hire and all, it's not really up to me. I'm at the mercy of this company I work for. So, but I'm not upset about it. I'll take it as it comes, and I know the Lord will provide for Emily too. I'll do what I can without being there, but anyway, just pray for my daughter, that the Lord will bless this little one and help her to be able to make it through. She's so miserable and discouraged right now. So thank you for your prayers and for your friendship. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and the sun's shining brightly. God is good, and I wish you all of His many blessings today. Bye-bye.